parenting that we keep giving to our children, you know, and we are actually not trying to oblige our children. We are trying to create a status symbol. We are trying to live up to that status that our neighbor has given it. We need to give it to our child so that she or he does not feel complex. It's not good. It is a very creative period of their lives when they're growing up.
All right.
And they need to
All right. Sudha Ramalingam, you heard Majid Menon speak as well as Sanjay Hegde, and I have a feeling you completely agree with them as far as sentencing goes and as far as the quantum of sentencing goes, and this case not being fit for the rarest of rare case, and even though the CBI has asked for the death penalty, it looks unlikely that they will get their wish, and I think it would be safe to assume, well, nothing is really safe to assume, but it would be safe to assume that this particular case, the judge will go with life imprisonment. Even if he does deliver multiple sentencings, it could perhaps be 14 years or more.
Absolutely. This case does not warrant death penalty at all. I agree with every word that Majid Menon spoke. I also would like to add that the sentencing could also be life as life without remissions. There are cases like Premananda Swamy where he was given 2 consecutive life sentences without remissions. It went up to the Supreme Court and there was no solace given to him. The sentencing process was not reduced. So Premananda Swamy died in the prison. So 2 life consecutive sentences without remissions. Even in this case, 1 life also could be given without any remissions. And when there are 2 murders, it could be 2 lives consecutively, to run consecutively without remissions. This is a possibility, but I'm definite, and I also feel that death penalty is unwarranted in this case, like in any other case.
All right, Nisha Khanna also joins us right now. Nisha Khanna, let me ask you a very quick question before I toss it back to the studio. Nisha Khanna, the judgment, of course, the verdict came yesterday. The quantum of sentencing will happen today. The judge has taken an hour's recess and he will come back. He's heard both sides of the argument. The defense, of course, is still has asked for leniency. The prosecution, the CBI, has asked for a death penalty case right now. Which way do you think the pendulum will swing?
I would say that I would not find it is the rarest of rare case. Even I am not in the favor of death penalty, because in the last time when we were over the TV channels regarding that rape case, 16 December rape case, where that was the rarest because it's a brutal kind of murder. But in this case, I am not finding out. Don't compare the social emotions with the particular this case, because case works on the scientific facts and judge should go through the scientific facts, and they were not the criminals. They have not the background of criminal history. So we should take it as if it happened, the murder happened, it happened in a rage, or it may be in a mode of anger. But I would say keep the things in mind. I am not thinking or not in favor of capital punishment in this particular case. The rarest of rare cases have different backgrounds. And I think so that lawyers can explain that better way, because the brutality of murder is there. I think so the people who are asking for that and CBI wants the capital punishment, definitely they will. If I would be on the CBI, if I will put my I would say commitments and what I would post, I will definitely ask for the maximum punishment. But I would say if the judge will keep all the things in mind, then they should not go for the capital punishment.
Right, Sumit Nagpal is back with us, of course. Sumit, let me ask you, no change till now. We're still waiting for the judge to come back after his recess and pronounce the judgment. We have, of course, in the studio, we have some guests, Sanjay Hegde, Sudha Ramalingam, as well as Aditi Jain and Nisha Khanna. So let me just toss it over to Sumit Nagpal, who can, of course, give you a short recap of what all has happened today and what to expect in the next hour or so. Sumit, you're on with our guests in the studio. If you have any questions for Sanjay Hegde, we can of course take them right now. But how long do we expect? All right, Sanjay has left, of course. Sanjay will try and join us in just a bit. But Sumit Nagpal, what time do we really expect the judge to come back? If you give us a ballpark figure, an approximation.
As far as the judge is concerned, he has heard the arguments of both the sides. He has heard argument on sentence, and now what he has to do is he has to apply his mind and finally take a call that whether this case falls under the category of rarest of rare, and then probably 15 to 20 minutes from now we will be getting to know what is the final judgment of this court. And as far as the judgment is concerned, we have got only two options: either it can be death penalty or it can be life imprisonment. And as far as the CBI is concerned, they have asked for the harshest punishment possible, so that is they are asking for death penalty in this case. Ultimately the court will have to take the call what they have decided in this case.
Just about 15 to 20 minutes more when we can get a clearer idea, a clearer picture of how long the Talwar will be going in for, whether or not the judge looks favorably at life imprisonment. That's 14 years, remember, perhaps even multiple sentencing. That all depends on S. Lal, the special CBI judge who's been presiding over this case, and he's taken his time. He's taken all the evidence into consideration. Yesterday he pronounced the verdict. Today he will give the quantum of sentencing. He's already heard, remember, both sides arguing. The defense, of course, both sides, of course, the defense as well as the prosecution. Like Sumit said, right now 15-20 minutes more. Seher, it's back to you for till now. 20 minutes more, we'll have something new to report. Sumit, of course, will be here getting you the latest.
All right,
now
20 minutes, as you say, Athar, we would be coming back to you, both Athar and Sumit Nagpal. Many thanks from outside Ghaziabad court there. We're expecting the courts to announce the quantum of punishment against the Talwars in just 20 minutes from now. The courts there have taken a break of 1 hour. 20 minutes from now they would be announcing that. Dr. Nisha, I've been meaning to ask you this question. Really, what at the moment, while we do know that the verdict against the Talwars has already been announced, we saw them break down yesterday after the verdict was announced. What really is going through, as a psychologist, understanding the function of the human psychology here? What in your view is really going through the Talwars right at this point of time?
I think so. It's right now, I would say, because on other news channels I also spoke to their relatives also. They are still in the face of denial that this can't be happen with us and we are still innocent. So I would say it's almost in lots of cases it's happening. Always the people who are involved, they are always in the face of denial. They won't accept it what they did it. Another thing, that when you are talking about the guilt also, guilt is always before doing the commitment of the crime. Once the crime is happened or over, then guilt is not there. So I would say they know what they have and what they are standing for. They can't take a back off from that particular stand, what I think so. So as a thing, they decided in the starting of this commitment that they are not involved in this and they will keep on this and they will stand by. They can't take a back stand. If they have to take it, they have to take it long time back when the murder happened, and when actually 5.5 years ago when this scene created, they have to accept it if something happened like this. But now I would say they will be they will be strong, and what they want, accept it, they did something like this, if they did it actually. And again, I would say I'm not again in favor of capital punishment.
Right.
Whatever the circumstances, they may did it, but don't, I would say, include the social emotions. It's all on the basis of facts.
Right.
If they did it, then I would say
going by facts, Sumit Nagpal from outside, our correspondent from outside Ghaziabad court this afternoon. Going by this fact, Sumit, do you think technically the fact that the verdict was announced only with the help of circumstantial evidence, would that be an impediment if the judges really are in favor of capital punishment?
See, I will tell you one thing explaining this fact, that CBI did have only circumstantial evidence, but now the fact is that Talwars have been convicted. So that part is over. Now they have to decide, the judge has to decide the quantum of punishment. And quantum of punishment depends on 3-4 things. One, the heinousness of offense, whether this offense can be categorized as rarest of the rare case. And secondly, the court has to see that what would be the adequate punishment, so that the person who has in fact suffered, he can get respite. So that's why.
Right. Also, Sudha Ramalingam with us from Chennai, human rights activist, senior advocate. Sudha, you've been with us since morning. All along, you've been saying you do not favor capital punishment, whatever the case may be, and you're also not really in favor of calling this a rarest of rare crime.
Yes, absolutely. I also would like to add that life penalty, life need not be 14 years or 20 years, life could be life. the court can very clearly indicate that there no remissions will be granted. If for 2 murders they are charged with and 2 life sentences are imposed, the court can also say that it would run consecutively with no remissions and it could be executed too.
Right, Aditi, we know that the CBI is wanting to term this. They in fact have termed this as a rarest of rare case. We also saw Hemraj lawyer Naresh Yadav there say that this should be treated as a rarest of rare case, really pushing for capital punishment here. Are you of the view that this case, the verdict here, the quantum of punishment deserves to be capital punishment, or would you like to see an announcement of life imprisonment for the Talwars here?
Well, I am not, I don't believe in stick for a stick. And I also understand, you know, an eye for an eye will turn the entire nation blind. These are not hard convicts. These are not criminals. These are parents who have acted, if at all, in a fit of rage, which is unacceptable. A parent cannot afford to behave like this. And whether parent or us or anybody, we need to be calm. We need to understand if anybody is not behaving in accordance with our sensibilities, that is the time to understand that definitely there is a communication gap and we need to do something about it. We need to share, as I've been telling time and again, that please let's not try to invoke the barbaric self in us. We need to handle it gently. Now whatever has been done cannot be undone. Let us get the best out of it. Let us see how we can reform our society. Let us take a collective responsibility of showing good things to our children in their growing years. These are the national assets which is going to form our nation tomorrow.
Dr. Khanna, if you're looking at a scenario of a capital punishment being announced here against the Talwars, are we looking at really some harsh lessons to be learned from this case?
Yeah, the harsh lesson which we have to learn, that we have not to take the, I would say, the law in our own hands. Whatever the children do wrong, there are the other ways. And a number of times when I dealt with the elite class people, they, especially the educated people, when themselves they are doctors or the CEOs of the companies, they don't even admit that they are on fault and they have the flaws in their personality. At that time, at least, I would say this case should, I would say, highlight that if there is some problem in the family, you should go and consult to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a counselor for particular problems. When there is a relationship issues, either as a husband and wife as well as with the children also. And don't think of that you are yourself as a doctor, so you can treat or your family, handle your family in a well manner. I even dealt with the doctors, lots of people, I would say educated people, not even I would mention doctors, where they are in the face of denial. No, we can't be wrong. What we are saying, we are right because we are the self-made people. It's not that you are a self-made people. Sometimes the person is how much educated in whatever position the person is belonging to. We need to learn, and there is a need to be modification and flexibility with the passage of time. And we should change with the passage of time because of our kids or because of the nature in the society. In that way, the parents should learn this lesson that if there is something wrong, take the help of the professional. We can't handle everything by their own.
Right. Sudha Ramalingam, my next question to you, since the courts have called this a case of honor killing, they've not termed this as a case of a crime of passion. They've clearly said that it is a case of honor killing. Do you draw some similarities or some differences, as according to your view, with respect to what's happened with the Talwars and with respect to what the Khap Panchayats do with their daughters?
This honor killing seems to be not on the basis of caste, but on the basis of class. After all, Hemraj was their servant. So, and I don't think that people belonging to this class of society such as the Talwars were harping on caste as much as class difference. One. Secondly, the Khap Panchayats seem to be premeditated crimes where they do away with the persons on the basis of their predetermined ideologies. But here there seemed to be a sudden and grave provocation only. So there's a sea of difference between the Khap Panchayats committing honor crime from what is being seen as far as the Talwars are concerned, if we can call this as an honor crime itself. It must have been only some sudden and grave provocation which has led to this sort of a murder.
Okay, stay with us, Sudha, and all our guests as well as our correspondent Sumit Nagpal. Some bit of breaking news that's coming in. Let's get in some quick inputs from our correspondent Sumit Nagpal from outside the Ghaziabad court. Sumit, we're expecting that quantum of punishment to be announced in a short while from now. But going by the line that has been maintained by the CBI all along, terming this as a case of honor killing, are we looking at the courts here considering this as a rarest of rare crime and going ahead and giving that capital punishment against the Talwar couple? Right, Sumit, if you could hear me, if my audio is going through, once again I'm going to ask you, are we looking at the courts here, since all along the argument has been that this is a case of honor killing, are we looking at the courts here treating this as a rarest of rare case and giving that capital punishment, announcing that capital punishment against the Talwar couple?
See, this was the prosecution theory that this is a case of honor killing. So this argument of the prosecution has in fact found its way in the judgment of the court. But at the same time, I can tell you that whether it is honor killing or ordinary murder or any other case, the quantum of punishment is dependent on other things. That whether the act was such a heinous act that it deserved nothing but capital punishment, and second point is if somebody has the history of murdering people, if somebody is a serial offender, if the victim was a hapless victim unable to defend himself or herself. So in those cases capital punishment is in fact awarded. But as far as other cases, other murder cases are concerned, let me tell you that in India we have a rule that normally the life sentences will be given and death will be given only in the exceptional circumstances, and this is something which has been laid down by the Supreme Court. So clearly in this case we have to see that whether the judge concerned finds this case in the rarest of rare case.
Okay.
So one ingredient is, yes, it is there that the offender, the killer as well as the victim, they were sharing a relationship of fiduciary nature, a relationship of trust. A child doesn't believe that his or her parents can in fact kill him or her. So that's why this one factor is there which makes this a aggravating circumstance. But otherwise this is a case of mitigating circumstances, and in my personal opinion, if you ask me, this case doesn't fall under the definition of rarest of rare case.
Okay.
But the judge will have all the evidence in front of him, so he will apply his mind and finally decide that whether this is the rarest of rare case as decided by the Supreme Court.
Right, Sumit. At this point, I'd like to take up our guest Sudha Ramalingam with us from Chennai. Sudha, you have something very interesting to mention earlier as well when I asked you this, that there are immediate comparisons that are drawn with the manner in which the Khap Panchayat deals with its daughters. You call this, as all along, the court has termed this as a case of honor killing, but you made that distinction calling it an honor killing not in terms of caste but in terms of class.
Yes, I do feel that people with the ideology or the class from which the Talwars come, they may not be thinking of caste as a very big issue, but class would definitely be a bigger issue. After all, the child was being brought up and schooled in Delhi public school in very affluent circumstances. So class would be a greater divide in that sort of a society than caste is what my perception is.
Okay.
And secondly, I also feel Khap Panchayats are very different. They are definitely exclusively caste based, and they are very, very close in their nature. So it's very different from the open society which the Talwars belong to than the Khap Panchayat society, which are very, very close in their own villages, in their own parts, and not wanting to get away from their kith and kin.
Right.
So that would be a very different comparison.
Okay.
I don't think we should compare this with the Khap Panchayat way of honor killing.
Okay. At this point, I also have my colleague Piyushi Sharman with us in the newsroom. Piyushi, I understand you are tracking what's trending on Twitter at the moment. Multiple reactions that are coming in from well-known personalities as well as common people from Twitter on this matter, on this verdict that is announced against the Talwars and the quantum of punishment that still needs to be announced.
Well, absolutely, Seher. The entire Twitter world is abuzz with reactions on what just could be the sentence for the Talwars. But most of the people are talking about the same theory, the honor killing theory, and some are also wishing Arushi's soul well. They're saying R.I.P. Arushi. Some are posting videos from her life. Let's get you a couple of reactions that have just come in. Well, beginning with the top reactions, Vikram Gulati here says, what I see is the parents wanted real killers to be nabbed to get justice to Arushi, even blamed CBI for lapses, and that's why they were framed. So these are kind of reactions. They are giving a benefit of doubt to the parents. Also, Amy Jones says CBI asked for death penalty for parents Nupur and Rajesh Talwar. Well, this is the news that is abuzz all over. Most of the people are just about informing that CBI has asked for death penalty for the parents, and they are waiting to watch what exactly is going to be the quantum of sentence. Then there is one person who's objecting to the entire discussion on Arushi Talwar. He says, is this a cricket match? Every over update. Arushi murder case, arguments on quantum of sentence just continue. This is something he's not liking. Then there are certain people who have wished Arushi well. Muhammad Arsalan says, Arushi may her soul rest in peace. There's also Bella Sharma who's saying, Arushi Hemraj verdict, CBI demands death penalty for parents yet again. She's just about informing. Then we also have a reaction from Shekhar Kapoor, who's a celebrity. He's a film director. In fact, earlier when I was going through his post, he was just saying that it kind of moves him. Here you are. It says, I'm really depressed. Arushi judgment, maybe I can't believe or don't want to believe or find it emotionally too challenging. Killing your own child. So these are also the reactions that are coming in. There are various theories also doing around. There are a lot of speculative tweeting that I've noticed this time around. Ramesh Srivastava says, whenever I read about Arushi case, I remember this article written by Nupur's cousin, makes me sad and scared. He's also given a link for that, so on and so forth. So these are the kind of reactions we're getting on Twitter world. Back to you.
All right, Piyushi, many thanks for taking us through reactions. Essentially the main subject that's trending on Twitter at the moment. A lot of people are still wanting Arushi's soul to rest in peace. But of course, the most depressing fact being there for many of us here that at the end of the day, the parents have been announced, have been charged guilty of murder of not just their own daughter but also the domestic help. Our correspondent Sumit Nagpal, once again back to you there, Sumit, outside Ghaziabad Court. We're expecting that announcement of the quantum of punishment coming anytime soon. But I'd also like you to take in a quick word from Molly. I understand our correspondent Molly is with you as well there, Sumit, who's in fact getting us up to date on really the health condition of the Talwars. We know that they've been unwell through all of night, and there was a huge question whether or not they'd be able to attend court today or not.
Molly, in fact, office wants to know about your coverage of this particular case, what is happening right now, what you have seen when you talk to the jail authorities, how was the night spent by Talwars in jail, what was their reaction, what has happened so far?
Well, actually, the jail authorities actually tell us that the Talwars have had an absolutely restless night. This is, of course, not the first time that they were in Dasna jail. We also asked the jail authorities about the kind of shift in behavior and the kind of difference, per se, about the Talwar couple, and the kind of resistance that the Talwar couple was showing, for instance, to the jail authorities. The jail authorities tell us that, first of all, the Talwars seem to be a lot more brave, a lot more controlled and composed at this point of time, but they're also telling us how the Talwars skipped their meal last night. They've absolutely restrained themselves, withdrawn themselves from any communication. Remember, they were lodged in separate security cells, high security zones, and they have not been allowed to communicate with each other ever since they were brought into Dasna jail last evening. They have not been allowed to interact with each other. Even the jail staff, which is the only who are only allowed to visit them, have been trying to console them, because remember, they have been extremely disturbed. They have been crying repeatedly. The Talwar couple, in fact, the jail authorities telling us, even refused to skip a meal, like I said, which in a way resulted resulted in their health condition deteriorating this morning when they were supposed to be brought into court. Their blood pressure peaked up, especially Nupur Talwar. Her health was a huge concern for jail authorities. Even till the last minute, there was a second health checkup which was performed on both Rajesh and Nupur Talwar, because even Rajesh Talwar's blood pressure was peaking up, and this was a huge concern for jail authorities because they do not want to bring them to court premises when they are not fit enough to do so. So there were several options that even Sumit Nagpal and we were discussing about the kind of possibility that could have been a video conferencing that could have been done had they not been brought to the court premises if they were not well enough to do so. But of course, the second health checkup had confirmed the fact that they are well enough. The kind of medicines that were administered to them, the kind of rest that they took for the last few hours had in fact worked wonders for them, and they did in fact feel well enough. The doctors confirmed that they were fit enough and healthy enough to be brought into court for this crucial hearing, which is expected to be out any time now. And in fact, we've also been talking to the jail authorities about the kind of behavior. Like I said, the Talwars have not been communicating at all. They've been extremely unconsolable, is what jail authorities tell us, crying repeatedly. They've been even when asked by jail authorities to take their meal, which is supposed to be done according to the rule book, the Talwars only took a small portion of their meal, which in turn resulted in their health deteriorating. Even the jail authorities tell us they were appearing to be extremely worried and extremely apprehensive and anxious about the kind of verdict which they would see today, which resulted in them not sleeping through the night, in fact crying most of the time, and even today morning they were not communicating much with the jail authorities, keeping to themselves and in fact crying most of the time. Back to you.
Right, Aditi, as we're drawing this distinction, or rather wanting to draw a parallel between what the Khap Panchayats do in terms of honor killing and the courts having already declared Arushi Talwar's case a case of honor killing, do you think that there is immense sympathy that has been all along for the parents in the past 5.5 years, despite after the verdict that came out last afternoon, when they termed it as honor killing, there is a certain amount of sympathy that is still there for the parents, because we who are part of urban civil society relate to the parents. We would be reacting very differently if this really was a case of honor killing within the Khap Panchayat.
Well, there is a reason for it. This is a menace that all of us are facing in today's time in urban societies. We are, as I said, that we are all having a very stressful lifestyle, and that's where somewhere in our heart of hearts we are relating to the Talwar couple. But then it cannot be justified. It cannot be given a clean sheet because they have acted under heat of rage. And yesterday I was on another channel, and there I heard a conversation of Hemraj's wife, and she says, I've never heard my husband say anything else about the couple, and he treated his Arushi as his own daughter because we have a child of that age. Second, she said that they said, did you hear anything else bad about the Talwars? She said, no. All I've heard from him, she heard from Hemraj was that Dr. Talwar, the Rajesh Talwar, was a very short-tempered guy, and on little things he would lose anger. And that is what we need to take a call.
To understand.
That we need to keep composed with our kids. We need to understand their problems rather than being reactions to those problems.
Dr. Khanna, do you think it would have made a marked difference, a minute difference to the eventuality of the quantum of punishment to be announced today if the courts had not termed this as an honor killing and termed it instead as a crime of passion?
I would say definitely, if it is a crime of passion, definitely court will not take it as a quantum of death or capital punishment. But I would say again, I would agree with Aditi and whatever she said it, because I am finding it is not the rare of rarest case. If it happened, it had happened at the particular moment. So we should think on those lines, and especially the message we got from this case, because it got highlighted through media or different organizations help. So we should able to understand there is a gap, communication gap, and that is on emotional level or a psychological level. That should fill between the kids as well as the parents. And definitely due to the stress of today's lifestyle, we should learn how to manage your stress. And we should not take that stress over the children. I can understand even the 13 years old children are not like our times when the children are able to listen to the parents and they have some fear in their head they were respecting, but these days even the kids are responding back. And
right.
when I'm interacting with even the teenagers,
right. No, but in fact, at this point of time, sorry for the interruption, on a legal issue here, I'd like to once again go back to our correspondent Sumit Nagpal there from outside Ghaziabad Court. While talking about what kind of quantum of punishment the court is going to announce this afternoon in just a short while from now, Sumit, really what are the kind of legal options that we're looking at that the Talwars are expected to exercise post this announcement?
See, as far as the legal options are concerned, let me tell you that once they are awarded any punishment, whether it's death penalty or life imprisonment, they will have to immediately apply to Allahabad High Court for stay of conviction. Then they will apply for bail. Once the conviction is stayed, then they will apply for bail, and after that it will take 2-3 months. They will have to remain in jail, and finally the High Court will decide whether they have to be enlarged on bail or not. And as far as the bail is concerned, I don't think they should have any problem getting bail, because as far as bail is concerned, their record is clear. They have not violated any bail conditions as of now, and throughout the trial they have remained on bail. So clearly, immediately after the judgment, we will see an appeal being filed in Allahabad High Court by the lawyers for Rajesh Talwar and Nupur Talwar.
All right, Sudha Ramalingam still with us. Sudha, many thanks. You've been with us through the morning for this discussion here. One final question to you, Sudha. According to the Supreme Court ruling there, which does mention the issue of honor killing, which has also been the central theme of the prosecution's argument there as well. According to that ruling, does this qualify as a rarest of rare case?
I repeat, it is not the rarest of rare case, whether it be according to the Supreme Court ruling or otherwise. And furthermore, I keep on telling you that a conviction based on circumstantial evidence cannot and ought not to attract capital punishment. Capital punishment cannot be given to a case where you decide on only circumstantial evidence.
All right, on that note, we'll have to leave it at that, but we would continue tracking this. We do know that the quantum of punishment to be announced by the Ghaziabad court in just a short while from now, in about 5 to 10 minutes. We have been tracking this since morning as well. Of course, early this morning reports were coming in whether or not the Talwar couple would be able to come to the Ghaziabad court because of citing reasons of ill health, of a stressful night. They were reported to have high blood pressure through the night, but after the medical checkup at 1 p.m. they were taken to the Ghaziabad court. At the moment, we do know the arguments are on for the announcement of the final quantum of punishment against the Talwars. And the latest that we're getting at the moment is that the order would be out at 4:30 p.m. We're still looking at about half an hour's time from now is when we'll get to know the final announcement of that quantum of punishment against the Talwars. The debate continues on whether the Talwars would be given a death penalty or life imprisonment. If one goes along the argument that if it is not being seen as a rarest of rare case, they would possibly be given a life imprisonment. Of course, the eventuality of that would be known at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon.